Okay, go ahead.
All right, good deal. And I live in the country. Well, you guys might think you do too, depending on where you are. I'm in Eastern North Carolina, but in like the country part. So it's a lot of farmland, might be similar, almost to the beach. So almost the Outer Banks. We have terrible internet here. So if I freeze or start getting choppy, please flag me in the video or in the chat so we can just wait a second, let it get its life together, and then we can get it back. So to that point, we did not even have internet available at our house for the first 4.5 or 5 years that I've been a coach. So just know that you can find ways to make it work, even if you have really terrible internet or don't even have internet at all. Hotspots and working from your cell phone a lot. So my name is Gabby. I am a granny coach. I have been coaching since 2014, but as most people say, we have a sign-up date and we have a start date. When I signed up, I was working full time. I had just had my first daughter. Megan, our upline, we had been connected by a mutual friend about a year before, maybe not quite a year. I was pretty pregnant, and I was not the most pleasant person when she was talking to me about Beachbody. I would like to think I wasn't rude. I was just very straightforward. I didn't initiate the conversation. I got connected by a mutual friend, and I had told the mutual friend I wasn't interested, to please not connect us, and she did anyway. And I was like, is this your full-time job? Do you actually make money doing this? Like, I am your worst nightmare invite, because if someone responded to me the way that I responded to her, I would have never followed up with them again. But what I did is I kept watching her, and I kept watching through my pregnancy, watching through my early postpartum days and weeks. And like a lot of people, I was struggling. I was never formally diagnosed with anything, but I know that I was having a really hard time. Where in my husband's hometown, I didn't really have much of a network here outside of some of his family members. And when I decided I was going to go start working out again, I was using a burned copy of Insanity DVDs. And, like 10 minutes into Insanity, it felt like my lady parts were going to fall out of my body. And I said, I cannot do this. This is not working. And I got very discouraged. And sometimes unfortunately takes people to hit that rock bottom to finally reach out. And I think that's something like important to remember, that a lot of times when people have reached out, they have tried everything else, and we are their last resort. But that's okay. We'll take them. We'll take all of them. And Megan our upline was so gracious. She was so patient. It took me forever to sign up, not because I didn't want to, but because my baby was colicky, extremely colicky, and screaming all the time unless she was nursing. And we had a lot of latch issues and stuff. And I remember getting timed out of signing up multiple times. So like I would leave my enrollment up on my computer and get kicked out and have to start over the next day and start over the next day. So again, don't give up on people. It doesn't mean that they don't want to do it, but sometimes life is just happening and they just need a little bit of grace. So that's how I got started. Fell in love with it. I joined her in a coach sneak peek. So, I need to be preaching to myself here. Coach Sneak Peek's work. I came in looking at the opportunity because I didn't want to go back to work. I feel like Brooke shared this too, that my baby didn't take a bottle either. And I had to go back to work without her taking a bottle. And that was hard. I extended my maternity leave by a month already. We tried all the things, leaving the house, this person feed, all the stuff, and we just could not get it to work. And so it took about 2 or 3 weeks after I went back to work for her to start taking a bottle. And I remember thinking, like, I'm not here for this. I'm not passionate enough about this job to do this. It has a glass ceiling, and I don't really have any prospects in this job. So I need to find something else. And if it may not make a difference right now, but I'm willing to put the work in now so that one day it can happen. And so that's my story, is a slow story, the tortoise and the hare. Like, it took me a minute, but it was worth it, because everything that I gained along the way led to what happened this year for me. So I signed up in 2014, but I say that I really started my business in 2018. And you're like, holy cow, like you had 4 years before. Now I was hobby coach, hitting success clubs sometimes, had my products paid for, went to 2 summits in the middle of that, went to my first one. I didn't know a soul. I roomed with random people on our extended team that I did not know. Slept in a bed with someone else. I was pregnant at both summits. And me and this other pregnant girl were like belly bumping in bed together. So, I mean, it's okay if your journey has not doesn't have the image you thought it was going to have. All of that serves a purpose. So every part of what you've gone through, you're going to be able to use and connect with someone else you're going to recruit down the line and their experience, whether it's them going to an event solo or having a small network or whatever the thing is. Like, you're going to be able to use all of it. God didn't put you through it to not let you use it later. So hang on, you'll be able to use it. And so what really catapulted my business was coming out of my miscarriage. So I experienced a miscarriage in 2018, and it took forever. It was a missed miscarriage, and my body just was not doing its thing, waited all summer for it to try to do its thing, and it didn't. And that was just a really weird place to be going through the summer. I had 2 little kids and trying to do all the things, and very uncomfortable, just you feel a lot of the first trimester grossness on top of the crampiness of things not going. So it's a very strange place to be. But I remember I defaulted to the activities I knew made me feel good. And I fell back on the things that in that really hard postpartum stage, when I started, that I just was not feeling good in my body. I really needed something to pull me out of the funk. It's like I was able to fall right back on those things. And even though a lot of it was going through the motions, it was life-saving. You know, my group, well, at the time back then, a lot of us were doing monthly groups based on programs. We didn't have Beachbody on Demand, or it had just come out. So we would rally everyone to spend $1,000 on a set of DVDs, and somehow they would do it. But so I went in and I said, once everything was done, I was like, I need to just jump into a program and give it everything. Like I need to rebuild the confidence into what my body can do. And I jumped into Lift 4. I had a really robust Lift 4 group, a lot of girls who had done programs with me before. And that was the program and the group that catapulted my existing ongoing challenge group, because the rapport in that group and the camaraderie that, looking back, all came out of brokenness, but we connected so well, is what launched my business. So I got insane results from Lift 4. If you haven't done Lift 4, you need to at some point. Joel's a little cheesy in it, but it's okay. You can get through it. His lifting's amazing. And so that's kind of what I consider my start date. So like I said, I would say like a strong Emerald coach at that point. I probably had a few coaches on each leg, but I was not mentoring a team, not one bit. Like, I was only focused on get you in as a customer. If you keep getting products, I'm going to try to get you to sign up as a coach. And then that was it. I was not trying to mentor leaders at all. It was very, very challenge group focused. I never was talking about coaching on social media. It was all just programs. And at one point, our coach Megan said, and this is one tip. She said, "Gabby, do you know that you're like 2 coaches from Diamond?" And I was like, I don't even really know what that is. I just was so unplugged. And yeah, if you do XYZ, you'll be Diamond. And so in 2 weeks, I was Diamond. So one thing is, don't assume your coaches know what's coming next. Like, you're going to have to like write it in crayon and remind them over and over again. Don't just assume they know what they need to be doing or how close they are to something. So many people don't even realize, oh my gosh, I can rank advance with 2 coaches. Like, some people they just, they're not paying attention to that. So don't ever make assumptions that they know what is this close in front of them. So just to fast forward through my story just a tiny bit. So Diamond in 2018, a little bit like not by accident, but was like, oh, surprise, you can be Diamond. And then I was 2-star right before Destin last year. So about what is that, about a year and a half-ish later. So it took about that long of me actually talking about coaching, right? Like that goes to show I talked about challenge groups and programs for 4-ish years. So that's all I got were challengers. And then I started actually talking about coaching. And then that consistency turned into finding some builders. And some of those builders were new people. And then some of them were people that had been my challengers forever that were just sitting there basically waiting for someone to mentor them and to be running after a goal myself so that they knew what they could be going after too. And so that 2-star happened. And I think that when your team sees you starting to succeed, I would say starting with Emerald-ish and pushing for Diamond, and they know you're going after that, they begin to think about those things and think about those goals too, and they're watching how you're doing it. You're ideally showing up in your personally sponsored page or your team page and sharing different things along the way. And you're giving them a roadmap. They don't have to do it exactly like you, but they're watching how you're doing it. And that's going to inspire them to take action and go after their goals too. And I think that's exactly what happened when 2-star happened. One of them was a coach who'd only been a coach for a year-ish, and she hit Diamond. And then one had been a challenger of mine since 2018. So it took her a minute to get around to it. So they got to see 2 different women from 2 totally different backgrounds, coaching journeys, all of it succeed. And they hit Diamond at the same time, and they held their 2-star for the same amount of time. And then when that happened, I had 2 other girls hit Diamond during the spring of this year. And of course, when you hit 2-star, you open up a second business center, and that one hit Diamond too. So yeah, it was a lot that happened all at the same time. And again, what I want to say to you is if you feel like you have been doing this a while and you are maybe feeling tired or like, oh my gosh, you see someone maybe like Brooke and you're like, golly, she's only been signed up for like, 3-ish years, and look where she is, and I should be further than I am. Like everyone's path is going to be different. I don't say that to say don't work for it and to not push, but don't get discouraged by that, because there are things that I know that because I have been doing this so long, make certain parts of it a little bit easier. I don't have to recruit as hard, as a new coach. If you're a new coach, be like, I'm new, but like it can feel like, oh my God, I feel like I'm messaging new people all the time and I'm forcing these invites. I just promise you, if you keep showing up and working your journey and sharing it, you're building so much credibility. They're going to go, dang, she's been doing this like 2 years, 3 years. And like, she's still doing it. Like that speaks volumes to me. Like when I see people hop from gig to gig and they're promoting this thing and this thing, whether it's an MLM or not, like it doesn't hold a lot of credibility to me. So that applies to the business part and the products and the programs. So I just wanted to encourage you, if you're like, oh my gosh, it feels like it's taking forever, like it's okay. Some parts of this do just take time to make it a little bit easier. Still not easy, but for you to not feel like, holy cow, how do you find all these new people all the time? Well, over time, the people that were little lurkers like me for a year watching my coach are going to come out and say, hey, I'm ready now. And it happens and it's wonderful. And, you're like, yes, I'm so glad that I didn't just disappear and stop. So to pivot a little bit, I don't want to keep you guys on here too long. The things that kind of stood out to me of probably how I've shifted my mindset and how I mentor my team and really like have to speak to myself this year. One is, and I know some of these are going to sound obvious and cheesy and sound like I found them off of, like I Googled inspirational quotes or something and like found them, but show up on social media, how you show up in real life, be authentic, because people will see right through it. And if you find yourself especially this year, right? During all the hard stuff, the political stuff, the COVID stuff, the vaccine, like all of the things, like do your best to rise above it. Try so hard. It doesn't mean you can't advocate for things and for justice and things, but just ask yourself, why am I posting what I'm posting? What is my intent? What is my goal with this? And if it's not really going to serve you or your business well, or add value to something or somebody, then just don't. So, show up authentically. And one way to do that, and some of y'all aren't going to like this, you need to unfollow coaches that cause you to fall into a comparison game. And if that's me, you can't unfollow Brooke, she's your I'm teasing, but like, just don't follow. If you find yourself seeing their stuff and you're like, God, like, why am I not where they are? And we signed up at the same time, or they've been signed up longer than me. You need to unfollow them. I will have people say, yeah, I was following, I don't know, somebody, some top coach. And I would have no idea who they were talking about, because I don't. I will watch them on a national wake up call. I will watch them on a training call on the champions page when they are sharing a Beachbody training. But most of the time, it's not relatable to me. Now, what I do think is valuable is if you do find a coach that you do relate to and they push you to take action and you feel like, I can learn from them. Like Brooke is that for me in a lot of ways. Like I will see a story series or something, go, wow, like I connected with that, and I connected the way she told that story and this. And so I will imitate it. I try not to like totally copy it, but like that's okay, especially if it's all kind of within the same team. But if it's someone that you're like, I cannot relate to their story, and like they just seem to be so successful, and all I see is them post these beautiful like Photoshop pic, like just unfollow them. The comparison game isn't going to get you anywhere. And to that fact, when you're being you, make sure that you are sharing the things that you are gifted with, that you're talented with, the skills that you have. You might not be able to edit a video like Megan Ewaldson, so don't try. Don't try to do it. Like you don't have to be the TikTok queen or the dancing queen, because that's working for her. Like show the things and do the things that you are already gifted with. And if you're not sure what those are, then start asking your closest friends. Like, okay, if I were to ever start a YouTube channel, what would I need to have it on? And you might not even recognize some of those gifts and talents that you have, but that's another way to expand your network and to find other people in your niche market. So, show up as yourself, your authentic self, not who you want people to think you are. That's only going to get you so far, because people know you in real life. They see your personal Facebook profile. And if what you're sharing in one place and the other are super disconnected, they're going to sniff you out. And if you're having a hard time finding that positivity to be like, oh my gosh, well, I'm so caught up in all the things, then personal development. And, if you've got a spouse or a parent or someone that's close to you, like ask, hey, when you go to my profile, when you go to my Instagram, do you find value? Do I make you laugh? Is there something on there that's off-putting? Or ask a fellow coach. Like, I've told Megan before, like, will you please social media audit me and just kind of like tell me what you see? And if something is like, you probably shouldn't have that up there, then that's fine. All right. The next thing is to be the ultimate hype girl. Okay. So this isn't just for yourself. Like you need to be hyping up everybody on your team. You need to be hyping up all of your prospective customers and coaches. And sometimes hyping is almost like counseling, but it's listening. It is encouraging them. It is that spark of belief in them, whether they're already on your team or not. And I think sometimes, and I guess that kind of linked in from what I was just saying, is sometimes we need that outside person to be pointing out those good traits. And so on your team, you've probably got people who say, or some of you might be thinking this, because we all have these thoughts, I'm not good at, and you list off all the things like making posts, taking pictures, I don't know, all the things, leading my team. Then you got to point those out to your team sometimes. You got to find the things that they are good at and hype them up. They might not see it. You might have to keep reminding them of all the things, but be their ultimate hype girl, because everyone likes to be complimented. You don't have to be fake about it. I mean, find the things that you genuinely see in them and just pull it out. I mean, that's just a huge mood booster and confidence booster to have somebody get that spark of belief before they have it themselves. All right. Something else this year that I really started doing differently too is I had to start showing up as the rank I wanted to be. For a long time, I wasn't showing up like a 2-star diamond coach would. I wasn't showing up how a 5-star diamond coach would. And for me, and these are going to also probably sound super basic, but they are things that I wasn't necessarily doing consistently. And I realized I need to start doing these things consistently. You have to treat it like a business. You have to, even if you want to treat it like a part-time business, if you had a part-time job, you would still be showing up for that part-time job, right? You'd still be getting ready for it. If there's something you needed to learn or be training on, like you still would be doing the things. So if you want this to be any kind of business, you have to treat it like one. And there are certain things that just have to be non-negotiable about it. I made national wake up calls and the Champions page trainings like a must. Like I need to know what's going on. Like I don't have to know every nitty gritty thing, but I need to be able to answer the questions from my coaches that they have and my customers. I need to be able to pass on these golden nuggets that I'm getting from these trainings down to them. So make sure that you are staying in the know. You don't have to know every single thing. You don't have to watch every single training, but especially if your upline points one out or sends one to you, like pay attention, because there's something in there that they know you're going to gain value from. Hosting my own team calls. So my own team calls sometimes have me and one person. Sometimes my team calls have me and 8 people, and it surprises me. So I started making sure that I was incorporating my own team calls. Occasionally, I will still lean on my upline's call if it looks like it's a topic or a training on something. When preferred customer came out or something like that, where it's like, okay, we don't need to duplicate this, then that's fine. But I encourage you, even if it's like once a month, to have your own team call so that people can be connecting with you and you get that opportunity to have some of the side chat. You get to just connect with each other differently, and your downline might do that really well, but that's something that I was not really doing. I was leaning on team calls on my upline constantly. And, sometimes, and this, we all worship the ground that Brooke walks on, but sometimes there might be a topic that you would want to mentor your team on differently from your upline. You might want something presented differently. You might want to come down with the hammer, not in a bad way, but like way more like, I don't know, more intense than maybe someone more gentle would, or maybe you would want to come across way more gentle on a certain topic than someone. So I think there are certain times you need to take that ownership and make sure that it's your voice and your leadership that's guiding them and not just your upline, because they signed up with you for a reason. So you can give them your time for maybe once a month, and then kind of incorporate the other team calls in there. Let me see. Make sure that you are crazy active in your challenge group. I know it sounds dumb. I got into a habit of just being a challenger in my own group. I would just check in. I might like things. I had posts scheduled, but in the last year or so, I've really been digging deep and not just hyping up my people. Like I will go in friend request challengers that are not mine. They're in my downline, coaches in my downline. I will make sure and go to their personal pages and hype them up over there and just be encouraging kind of all over the map. So not just showing up in my challenge group like a challenger. So just make sure you're contributing to whatever challenge group you're in, and that you're hyping up your coaches, their customers, their people. And sometimes I will ask my coaches, who needs some extra love? Like, who are you working with that needs a little extra hype, that you're talking to about coaching, that might just need a little extra encouragement? And I think that works pretty well, especially when it's someone from the outside and maybe they I don't want to say it means we have an agenda, but when it's the own coach, you might feel like, oh, I feel like I'm just pushing them too hard or this or that. But when someone from the outside comes in and is like, oh my gosh, you're crushing it. Like your results are crazy. And I hope you're sharing this on your profile or whatever. You can start tagging your downline coaches and stuff. And I know for me, like when I first started, even if just my upline tagged me in something, I thought I was hot stuff. So, it's just another way we can encourage them and get really connected, like deep, and not just across our own PS coaches. Another obvious one is making sure that you're working a program that brings you joy, that you're getting results from. Occasionally I would, I always try to do the new programs that come out, but if it wasn't my jam, I didn't necessarily completely abandon it, but I would still make sure that I was incorporating things that made me feel strong and confident. No one is going to get you in trouble if you need to jump to a different program. You don't have to publicly slam it or make an announcement about it, but just make sure, because that's going to ripple into your business and how you lead your team and all the things. And you're going to have people on your team that are going to feel the same way about a program, and you don't want them to feel like they have to do this stuff. Because I have diamond leaders who like lost some oomph because they were doing, and I'm not trying to slam Let's Get Up, I'm just saying like it just was not their jam, right? And it's like you could see the connection between it not being their jam and their business just being like, and they had to get back into something that they really loved, even though it wasn't a program launch. And then suddenly their business took back off again. So make sure you're truly doing the thing that we signed up to do in the first place, which is working your own journey, using the products consistently, and finding the joy in it and getting some bomb results, right? Especially pushing for 5-star. And I'm not sure what the spread here is, but whether you're pushing for star diamond or beyond, you do have to know when to push and when to have patience with your coaches. You want to mentor the way. Think about, how would I want to be mentored? How would I want to be pushed or not? Have they even asked me what's going on in my personal life? Or is every time they message me, is it asking about, how is my emerald doing? So just make sure that you're in tune with what your team has going on, especially those that are, you're kind of relying on, that are builders, because you don't want to push them away, and you want to be able to offer them grace, because we're humans first, we're wives first, daughters first, moms first. And all of that has to come first. And even if it feels like, oh my gosh, like I might drop this goal or whatever, in the long run, like pushing them is not going to get you where you want to be. That's how you lose a diamond. That's how you have a diamond quit, or someone pushing for diamond quit. So, just treat them how you would want to be treated during your push. But if they are saying, I'm going after this, then you lock arms with them and you sprint. Work with the willing. And then last thing that I did in the last year or so, I would say after 2-star, is I shared my goals with my team, and I had never done that. So I didn't really share my goals with my team until after I was 2-star. I was like, I don't have anyone who wants to work. And suddenly, once there were 2 people who wanted to work, and then I said, I want to be like, I would love for us to be a 5-star team. These are my goals. What are your goals? Then they manifested. Like we all put in the work. It was like, oh my gosh. And I would say, what does this mean? This means that 3 more of you in this group will be a diamond by, this date, or by the spring, or by the end of 5-star was my goal for the end of this year. So that was my goal that I shared with them. And then it happened in January, February, March, maybe April. So if you haven't shared your goals with your team, do it. It felt kind of icky at first. And right now I'm pushing through that discomfort with sharing that I want to be an elite team with my girls, but we have to put it out there, or they're not going to push for their own goals either. And I think that it's exciting to know that you're part of something bigger than just what you're doing, and what you're doing matters. And also for our teams to realize that in order for me to have these goals, it means that my team is crushing it. Like you guys are seeing big success in your business too. It's absolutely not me. It's what you guys are doing. And that I want you guys to have the success that comes with being an elite team. So the last little thing is just knowing, because I'm a granny coach and I've been doing this a long time, there are just some things that take time. And there are some things it's going to take a little time to build the credibility. You have to have an honest reflection on your journey, make sure if you're having a lull or, really, if you just feel like, oh, I'm in a rut, just reflect. Am I doing the vital behaviors? Am I doing personal development somewhat consistently? Am I consuming positive stuff on social media or TV or whatever? Am I really engaged in my challenge group? Am I getting on trainings? Am I doing my program? Am I showing up on my social media positively with my journey? Am I sharing why I'm doing the things? And I know those are basic coach behaviors, but just know, even as a diamond and above, that people go through ruts or whatever, and then question why their business has stalled. And so you just have to be honest, okay, these things happened. I went MIA, or I stopped really sharing my workouts, or I got kind of caught up in some of the mess on social media, and my business is reflecting that. And so that's not a permanent place. You can grow and move past that. But, there are some things that just take time. So just stay consistent, stick around, and, just always feel like you can ask your upline and ask your coaches to just, if you need an honest feedback, okay, what do you perceive? If you were someone coming to my social media, what do you see? Do you have some constructive criticism or some feedback on how I can be improving these things so that I can, because what is you're a bomb coach. You can help change lives with this opportunity. And we don't want people to miss out on that because you kind of accidentally got caught up in other stuff. So be confident in the gifts and skills that you have, share them proudly, and encourage your team, be their ultimate hype girl. And I think that that's all that I have. That's funny.
Well, that covered every part. I feel like it was so good, Gabby. I wrote down a lot, but I especially love that sharing your goal with your team. I think one thing it forces you to do is it makes you check your heart of why am I doing this? I can't shoot for 5-star, 10-star, whatever, because of a really shallow thing. It makes you make sure I'm in this for this reason, and then sharing that with it is just, I just think that's such a good reminder, because it's something I haven't really done that great this year. But Gabby is going to be in Florida in a couple weeks, and I know a lot of us will be there too, and I cannot wait. But does anyone, I know it's 10 o'clock for her, so let's definitely respect her time, but I know, does anyone have any questions for her? She just I don't know, I feel laid it all out there of what we need to do and focus on, but Brittany said, I'll just pick your brain in Florida. It's just so needed this year. I almost feel like it's more needed, or maybe it's just for me, this year than last year, of just getting together in person. Any questions?
Gabby, why are you so afraid of public speaking? Because you're really good at it.
I wish you could see the sweat that's probably dripping down my back right now.
You were great. Seriously, I don't have any questions right now because I talk to you all the time, but you seriously killed it. That was so good. I can't wait to share it.
Thank you. Seriously. Yeah. Well, one thing that coaching has absolutely helped me with is doing that. And I know we're not in person, but it's just something I have always been absolutely terrified to do. This sounds like an excuse. Y'all just bear with me here. I have very reactive skin. So if I get in a hot car, if I drink, if I get nervous, I flush. My nose turns bright red. I get hives up to my ears. My ears turn bright red. And it's like, whether I want that, like if I'm nervous, if I'm excited, it's like a tell. So I think I've always been so self-conscious of that I just never wanted to speak in public, and I avoided it like the plague in college. Like I refused to do it. I refused to like minor in Spanish, even though I was really good at it, because you had to like stand up in front of the class and speak in Spanish all the time. And I just was like, I can't do that. Like, I'm going to vomit. But it's just so cool to know how much this opportunity helps you grow. Like this year, my church put me on stage, which made me like want to throw up. But I mean, for my area, it's a pretty big church. And, you know, I was like, oh, can I do this? And I was like, you know what? You do this. I mean, they're virtual, but like you're still speaking. And it's like how I promise I would have never agreed to do that before coaching. Ever. It was a marriage panel, which is like even better, but it's just really cool to know all the ways that coaching can help us grow and truly get out of our comfort zone.
I totally forgot about that. You were so calm and collected. I would never have guessed that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, is my hair down? Is it covering my ears? I need my Dickie on that's like the fake turtleneck.
So good. Okay, well, no, I don't think anyone else has any questions. If anyone does, I'll shoot them over to you. But thank you so much, Gabby.
Sure. Thank you guys. This was awesome. Boosted my confidence a little bit.
So we are cheering you on for Elite. We're all pushing, you know, a lot of us on here, you, me, Dana, are all pushing for Elite. And I know like it's not something that just happens. So learning a lot. It's just been so fun. I know, speaking for Dana and I, just to be working closely with you, and we're learning a lot from you this year, Gabby. And we're all gonna do it. And I know that means if we do it, then more girls on our team will do it. And like you said, like it just paves the way for everybody. So it's like just that go first kind of thing. So Thank you so much. And thanks everyone for jumping on. See ya.
Bye.